Before we go to Monty for an update, I want to talk about Trey Lance. I have not shown this guy, the love over the years. I was excited when they picked him number 3 because I was like, oh, cool, the Niners are going after something. They're going after something they must see, right? Young, exciting guy with all the athleticism and talent that could be untapped.
That could complement the young, athletic vibe of the 49ers. That's what you're thinking,
when you're thinking about the 49ers over the last couple of years.
A lot of young, sexy names, he could be the guy to add to the mix.
It was almost like everyone loved Jimmy G, but, he can't really get you to the next level. Enter Trey Lance. That was the answer, right? Then he goes down. Garoppolo goes down. Brock Purdy. Everyone now talks about Brock Purdy as if they knew all along. Look at this guy. 4 for 5 on his one drive. Looks so poised. Oh, bro. Mr. Irrelevant. Everyone is acting as if they're the smart. They're Neil deGrasse Tyson of football. Like they knew. No one knew. He was Mr. Irrelevant. He was one pick away from not even being drafted. And the Niners could very well use that last pick, not for a quarterback, because earlier in the draft they picked Trey Lance. So I just wonder, what does everyone know? And I bring that up because Trey Lance looked like he finally started to get it together in the game over the weekend. Couple good drives. Looked like he actually had some poise, hitting some targets. Threw the ball well. Why are we so quick to be like, yeah, he might be done? I saw an article. Peter King said that he might go from number 3 pick to not in the league within 5 years. And my thought immediately was,
yeah, and monkeys might fly out of my butt.
like,
I mean, what does that mean? It might be. Who knows? That's all in Trey Lance's hands right now. What does Peter King know about it?
I just wonder, though, Covino, because I say that from the perspective of, look at how young some of these guys are. And I'll give you an analogy with a car. You ever go to buy a new car, and the dealership has some cars that they're not, quote-unquote, brand new. Oh, that has like 1,000 miles on it. Our dealers use it to drive from dealership to dealership. Or like, oh, that's like, yeah, we've been driving that one around town. It has 800 miles on it. It's not what? Brand new. But what is it really?
It's like a display model.
Yeah,
it's new, but not. There's like 1,000 miles on it.
Oh, this 75-inch TV? Yeah, we're all out. But what about this one? Oh, it's a display model. We'll give it to you $200 off. Trey Lance's body of work is so little that he's sort of new. That I'm amazed at other teams, because what does every team do when they draft a quarterback in the first round? They're trying to find the guy.
So he's not even certified pre-owned. He's essentially new.
There's not 30,000 miles. No one handed him back after a 3-year lease.
Like there's 800 to 1,000 miles because they drove it around a lot a few times.
I only compare him to a vehicle because I think it's a good analogy when you think about how what everyone's trying to find is who could bring our franchise a Super Bowl? Who could do it? And Trey Lance 2 years ago was good enough to be drafted number 3, but your confidence in C.J. Stroud or Bryce Young or Anthony Richardson or even Will Levis, or now people are looking at college kids now. Trey Lance is here, healthy. You could get him for peanuts compared to what people do for a first-round pick.
Plus, can I say he's only 23 years old?
23.
And some players develop and continue to develop. Look at Trevor Lawrence. I mean, dude was great. But you're seeing him develop into a better quarterback in the next few years,
we're so
right?
quick, Covino, to say who's done so soon. Either
but
people are great at really breaking down these quarterbacks, or they're guessing. Because like right now, isn't the sentiment like Mac Jones is almost done if he doesn't do something great?
Yeah, and I guess he's
younger than Jordan Love, who's about to get his first chance.
I think if he doesn't do anything to show improvement or growth, or to show why he was drafted number 1, then I guess, yeah, he could play himself out of the league in 5 years. But let the kid prove himself first. We haven't seen anything from him. We haven't seen many opportunities from the guy where that counted or mattered. So To make that prediction now is a little ambitious.
Go on the Trey Lance thing for one more second.
Go ahead, man, because, again, you said Peter King said he's out of the league in 5 years.
Peter King, one of the most respected writers, said he could see, Trey Lance going from 3rd overall pick to out of the NFL within 5 years.
If he doesn't do it, if he continues down the path that we've seen, he hasn't gotten much of an opportunity yet.
My point is, other teams seem to have, taken the idea of Trey Lance off their radar, because much like that, I said, not a used car, not a pre-owned car, that car that the dealership at Mercedes or BMW or Honda drives around town, it's the, quote, dealer car, has a couple 100 miles on it. So it's not brand new.
Isn't that like a loaner car?
Like a loaner. Yeah, like one of those. People are looking at Trey Lance like he's used goods. The guy started a game in the NFL, got hurt, he was out. And the only other...
Which could have been a fluke freak thing.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean he's injury prone.
The only other footage or real tape you got on Trey Lance is preseason football.
On. Then again, to your analogy, I had a loaner car, right? Mm-hmm. And, I crashed it, so it got injured. And I'll tell you what, truthfully, it was never the same again.
That could
maybe
be the case
they're
too.
banking on that. I don't know, but
Danny,
I'm not rooting against the guy. He's a young man. He's 23.
I get it. A guy like Bryce Young, played at a higher profile college, more, people know him. But it is pretty wild that teams, tank for players, and they always want the fresh new guy.
Dude, you could have said the same thing about Zach Wilson. And look, he's under the tutelage of now on Aaron Rodgers. He's getting a chance to grow and play behind one of the greats. You don't know what's in store for this dude. You have no idea.
Actually wrote that down. I wrote down Zach Wilson, Mac Jones, Trey Lance. There's a lot of young guys that are 25 and under that we're very quick to be like, well, instead of taking a chance on them, we want our shiny new quarterback out of college next year. Like, that's the sentiment.
Once a guy who your Niners obviously gave up a lot to get him, which is why there's so much heat on him, once there's a rep on him and there's jokes made, then there's a little bit of a pile-on situation. And that's what's gone on with Trey, because what happens, he overthrows a receiver during a drill during practice, and that goes viral.
You don't want to be on the bottom of a pylon.
Yes.
Yeah, and you know what?
Fighting for your life.
I just saw I saw on The Herd this morning on Fox Sports Radio, Colin was saying that Russell Wilson pulled Trey Lance aside and said, just ignore the noise, which I know is easier said than done.
That's the big story today. He's rooting for Trey Lance.
I just wonder, will Trey Lance ever get a shot? Think about it this way. Going into last season, I'll wrap it up with this simple statement. Trey Lance probably thought, I'm going to start a ton of games in the National Football League. And Brock Purdy probably thought, man, I hope I see the field one day in a National Football game. Fast forward 6 months later, Trey Lance may never play again, and Brock Purdy, people have all the confidence in the world as if, oh, we were so wrong. Mr. Irrelevant, you played 7 games and you were great. People are talking about Brock Purdy now in a completely different way, and it just shows, what do we really know the book on, everyone? No.
It also shows that when you get those opportunities, you really got to make them count. That's really it.
And speaking of which, something we're going to get to next hour, the backup quarterback for the Raiders. Is he, now they're saying, is he this year's Brock Purdy, Aiden O'Connell? Are there guys that, given an opportunity? Are there people that just are like, yo, it's my time to step up?